Hey, how you doing? Let's do it to it. Okay. Here, and it grabs that. Or even better is queen there, here and there. Yep. Here, there, and there. Here, rook there, fork, okay. Here, and there. Okay, let's do it. That's mate. Let's see here. You can retreat at that point to there and nothing. If I come here, you can actually come up here, I grab that, and then king takes. Yeah. This wins a rook. It's a check. Rook takes, check. King there. Rook check, bishop check. And then you have a queen, yep. See, now if you check, bishop here, and then rook there, and then you're threatening mate. trying to figure out, because my only concern about that is here. Oh, wait a second. I just played queen there. King was over and mate. Okay, yep. This is checkmate. This wins a piece. Queen here, and that wins the entire kingdom. Check, there, mate. Rook takes, bishop takes, bishop takes, and you win a rook in the corner. So bishop takes, pawn takes, rook, queen takes, and that potentially wins there. Let's see, takes, rook takes, takes, bishop there, knight here, up in there. I think I win material. This actually mates in two. Takes here, and that's a mate in two. And then you come up here. See if we play queen f3. King moves over. What do we do at that point? Well, maybe I can just take this pawn here and threaten the knight. Oh, I wasn't sure about that one. Let's see, rook takes here, king takes, rook check, king check, rook check, king down, rook check, right there. Check. There. And then that's it's kind of like a headache bringer. I'm gonna have to redo that. Give it one more shot. For some reason I didn't see that. Gotta stay focused. if I grab the queen, do I lose anything? I don't think so. Let's see, check here. If he comes over there, rook there. Only thing I can see is rook there. And then if rook intercepts here, takes, queen takes, and then queen there, and you win material. And this wins material. If I take here, rook takes, king there, and I think we're safe. check. Check. And then, nope, can't put there. I guess I could put there, check. After the queen takes. Maybe. Let's see, here, here. 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 There. Queen takes. Let's see here. Let's see here. Boy, this is a tricky one. Let me see if I take here, there, there. So I don't accomplish anything. I actually lose material. Let's see if I take there, red takes. So it takes here, queen takes. It's a tough one. We could solve this. Let me see here. let's see here, there, up here, here, so here, here, there, rotates, queen takes, so here, there, I don't think it's rotate, so here, here, pawn push. So takes check, king there. Well, this is kind of tough one because he's going to try to park himself on h1. Yeah, I'm going to take and then go queen g4. I believe that's right. Queen g4. Because even if a rook takes here, queen takes, rook takes, turns into a queen mate. Oh, okay. No. Is it doubling up rooks? Huh. Wow. Wow. Yeah, this is mate and let's see. Take there. You gotta be careful because of this queen here. It looks like it would be mate, but it's covered twice here and here. Yeah, actually, I believe can play queen b3. If king comes there, then that's mate. Trying to figure out if see, I want to play bishop a4 here. I want to play bishop a4, but I'm not sure if I should do that right away because I think he could actually play there, and if I play over here, knight takes queens. So I'm wondering if I check first, knight moves there, and then after the knight moves back, I turn into a queen then. Let's see, rook here, knight takes there if he pushes, oops, pushes. I turn into a queen. He turns into a queen. I think I can actually win the knight at that point. Let me see here. So here, there, push, queen. If he pushes here, I actually can win this knight with check. Boy, oi oi oi. What a headache sometimes. Maybe I could just plain old take the. I could play bishop d5, but and then attack there. What could he do at that point? Not much. Because I think going bishop a4 is too slow. Because if we go here, and let's say that he plays king, we'll say king here. Hold on. So here, king there. You take, king takes, check, king there, takes, pawn push, rook comes down, and we stop it. Boy, this, ay. We play here, he does have that. Then we got check. If it comes here, we can actually, in theory, sacrifice our rook for the knight. King takes, pawn, rook takes, bishop takes. And we could even sacrifice for this. Oh boy, this is not fun whatsoever. Maybe we could actually just play bishop g2 as well. That stops everything and forces our opponent to move at that point. And whatever they move, that kind of puts him in Zook Swamp. The only problem with moving here that I see is king can actually go there. Let's see, let's retry this here, here, Oops, it can't do that. So here, push, rook slides over. Yep. Takes there. That's back. Excuse me. Little hiccup there. Oh, interesting. Rook here. Rook takes, then that's mate. If we check here, plays there. We check there. Comes up. If we play here, he's got check there, and we're in a world of hurt. Check there. Check. Check. Takes there, and then the rook slides over. Check. Check. Up, and we're winning. Oops. see if I play a check here. If I take there, the queens, I come in with check, comes over, come here, queens, check, I check, comes up, I come there, boy, this is a really tricky one here, because I want to stop this, so maybe knight c3 might be the winning idea. Let's see, check. It comes here. Check. If it comes up. If there was a way I could somehow get a queen here to cover that at the same time checking, I'm not sure of that one. We'll get started. We'll pick these up, see what this is. We're not gonna waste a lot of time. We'll just see. Okay, takes. All because it takes, and then you take there, and okay. double attack. Try one more time. There we go. Now we'll do a, let's see, how did we do? Let's see. Ooh. Fourth. Nice. Oh, 60 is the day. Wow. Caterpillar got 107. Wow. Well, we got fourth, so that's good. Let's do one Magnus, and then end game, because we gotta always keep up on our end game. I'm gonna get a sip, and then we'll get. Oops, sorry, wrong one there. Not bad at all. This should be a pretty reasonable length one, not too long, which I'm glad they're not long. They got a lot of description, which is actually what we want. Oh, yeah. Well, it's better to study, I always think, than sometimes to play, unless you're doing it for serious. Because what happens is it doesn't involve the the viewers. Yeah, it's good. I'll have to, yeah. Alright. I'll have to look at this puzzle here. This is a Magnus versus, I don't know how to pronounce this gentleman's name. It's ERWIN space I'll put the guy's name in, so maybe you'll be better know how to pronounce it. I think that's an I. Nope, not. It's an I apostrophe. This is the gentleman he faced. Yeah, off the book. Yeah, this is that's the gentleman Magnus faced, and it was he was black and Magnus was white. So that was interesting. I didn't know how to pronounce his name, so I didn't want to do a bad pronouncement. So I just wrote it in there. So I just want to make sure I have all this set up right for in the book. Okay. Perfect. All right, we're good to go. Let's make it a study and start rocking and rolling. Perfect. Oh, oops! I must have ran out of space. Okay. I'm gonna have to start a new study. go. We will, hold on. Gotta make sure I see what chapter. I put the proper chapter name down. I have that. Now all I gotta do is put in the name of Magnus's opponent. Okay, so Magnus is to play, so it's white to play. Magnus played Queen G2, G3, and Magnus' opponent played Queen takes G3. And both players wanted to get rid of the queens. I think keeping them on the board would have wouldn't have changed much, but somehow I feel it slightly favored white here. So white, by getting these queens exchanged, helped white basically get the king closer to the game, into the middle. And so by taking, white is winning, while normally in this analysis black should be able to hold. I do not have a clear opinion, but tending to agree with another grandmaster I really can't pronounce that the gentleman agrees with in the book. One thinks that black should hold but have a long grind. It was yeah, it was one of it's this down here, if you can see it right here. That's who it was. Yep. Oops, not 2011. Oops, I am so sorry. That's my fault there. I forgot to change the number. That was my fault there. It's actually 2013. I forgot to put that in there. It's not 2011, 2013. I'm glad we spotted that. That would have been not very good, because then you wouldn't have been able to look it up if you actually wanted to start from the beginning. Okay, so the Magnus opponent played Rook A7. Of course, it makes sense. Hold on, I gotta enlarge the screen a little bit. There we go. So it's a lot better. It makes sense that the Rook wants to attack the bishop and potentially get off the back rank, try maybe to double, cause a little chaos along the second rank. So the Rook actually wants to come here and start infiltrating in. Rook C6 by Magnus. This stops the Rook from moving. It kind of, for a moment, paralyzes the Rook. It hooks the Rook to A6, because if the Rook moves now, Magnus would win and have two connected passed pawns. And so Magnus' opponent plays A5 to kind of now relieve the protection of the pawn with this Rook. So now the Rook can slide over and the pawn's protected here. So you always have to think, if I want my Rook to be, if I want to go A D7, what do I have to do to make it so that I can? How do I unparalyze myself on the pawn? Is push it, have your other Rook protecting it. So that was actually a really double idea there. Not bad. It wasn't an exclam move. So bishop C5. This is getting the bishop out and potentially actually attacking the Rook. So that does work. Now the Rook's under fire, so Rook A7, but that's actually what Magnus' opponent wanted, so it didn't really hamper the idea at all. Bishop E3. Exclam at this point. This is a really good move. What you're planning on doing is trying You're passing the move, of course, but you're also waiting to see what your opponent's going to do, and at the same time potentially you can double up and go after the a5 pawn. Carlsen took away the d2 square. Oh yeah, that too. That takes away this square from the rook. That was the idea, so that was actually a really good move. I didn't see that till, wow, yeah, nice, nice. So d7 to d6, and if Magnus trades, that actually helps black, because the more pieces that come off the board, the potentially opposite colored bishop, which would be a draw usually. So Magnus wants to keep the piece on the board, plays rook h4 with the idea of going potentially rook a4 if he needs to, or potentially doubling up and maybe some sort of an attack. Magnus was ready to swap queens, but wanted to keep all the rooks on the board because, like what we just talked about. So rook d6 or e6, that pins the bishop. King f2, now the bishop's free to move. D to e5. The Dutchman tried to tie down Magnus's bishop to the rook, and that's funny. All Magnus does is go bishop d2 and say, what really have you accomplished, friend? Because now I'm attacking and I'm also defending, so this is like stellar galore. The world's #1 changes his mind, and now he is ready to exchange the pair of rooks. If he had played rook, let me see, rook d1, that wouldn't be a really good move at this point. It'd be a dubious move, really bad move. You wouldn't want to do that. Oops, did I miss a move? I am so sorry. I think I missed a move here. Yes, I did. Bishop c. I knew there was a sitch. Okay, there. And then now he's ready to do that. Okay, that makes sense now why he could play rook d1. I knew there was a problem. That's an interesting move, but not the best move. So a4 by Magnus's opponent. Rook takes e5, rook takes e5, and then b4. Magnus created a pass pawn now. And so his opponent played bishop bishop b5, sorry. I thought it was c6. That was my mistake. That would have lost a piece. That would have been a bad move. This is actually dubious here, because black decides to sit and wait to see what Magnus throws at him. Recommended would have actually been g5 exclam. After g5 exclam. Which gains space, is more likely a what you want to do, the king side. Yeah, true. And rook c7, check. King g6, and then king g4. It may be winning. We'll have to take a look at that. We'll have to see. Just one sec. We'll take a look. c5 by black, and then bishop to c3 attacking the rook. And then rook e3 or e6. Rook e6, h takes g, f takes g, and then g takes h5 check. King takes h5 when it would be hard to build up an attack on the king side, and the game would potentially dwindle out to a draw. Bishop e3. Yep. Hold on, let me make sure. Sorry, bishop e3. On c3, which was suggested by another grandmaster, rook e3, pure opposite color bishop ending, which would be unfavorable for black because of this past thorn in the side of black. So black was to keep the rooks on the board. h5, pawn h5, and then rook to c7 here is an exclam idea with dual threats of potentially madness, going g5 takes, and then g4, h takes g4, f takes g4, and then g5, and if f takes g5, then h takes g5, and this pawn will end up becoming a problem for black. So that was the idea. Carlsen can now freely build up his play. Black can't do much by exchanging rooks, and if the rook went to c5, would be it would be okay too. Like if this were played, then potentially you could actually take, and maybe a draw. It'd be kind of odd there. King g6 to get out of this pin. Rook a7 to try to go after the pawn, and then potentially pin the bishop to the rook would be a pain in the drain too. Rook d5. King g3 exclam at this point is a really interesting idea of playing for more cramping of an idea. Carlsen wants to improve the king side by playing f4 like what we just talked about. I wonder whether his attention is to leave the bishop on e4 and then play f4. You know what? It could be one of those ideas, but his opponent plays a really, in my opinion, slightly disastrous move of rook d3, which is dubious. It has really no point to this play. His opponent should have tried playing rook d7, in my opinion, and then that actually leads to an interesting continuation, which would be rook a5, because Magnus doesn't want to trade. He wants to push back this bishop. Rook b7 and king f4 now, and the king could actually now get involved. Now king f7. It would be hard to make any progress for white at this point because black really has everything locked down, and how do you get your monarch into these loose squares is going to be pretty tough. But he made a mistake. I mean, not a mistake. He did play a dubious move on that one. Magnus played bishop c5, And then his opponent played a really odd move, which is rook a3. That just doesn't feel right. It just doesn't. Just doesn't feel right, because that allows for potentially rook d7 again. Might be a better idea, and of course Magnus is not going to trade because that any advantage would be null. Instead, he chooses this route. So bishop f8, which is really a strong attack now. Rook takes. If king f5 at this point would have been a blunder. And rook a5, that wins the bishop on the spot. So he really can't. He's got black's all in now, and so he either wins the pawn and tries to queen, or it's over. So rook, actually king. Sorry, rook takes. Hold on, okay. Oh, king f4. Interesting. He didn't automatically go. He wants to basically try to get a discovery and win material. With this move, Magnus makes sure the king remains in the corner. Nice. Nice move. King h7. If f5, king takes g2, g7, or takes g7, king f6, rook g5, bishop d3, and rook takes h5, rook takes g2, and then b5, and I believe, let me see, this actually stops the pawn from queening. If bishop takes, it loses a so if you take here, that'd actually be a double question mark blunder, so you can't do that move. So h, and now rook takes g7, king h8, and then king to f5, exclam at this point. The idea is Magnus wants to potentially, no, he can't actually, he can't go in there, because that would be, he'd probably have to play g4 first after that, and then after takes, and if there's a check, then you come in that way, because now it's protected. Yeah, that'd be kind of interesting, to say the least. He could have tried rook b7, bishop c6 here, rook c7, bishop d5, bishop g7 check, king g8, bishop takes f, he takes g2, b5, and white probably wins because of the white's 2 pawns up, or 1 pawn up, and soon a piece. So f5 and rook c2, king takes, f6 exclam. White has many pieces around the king. The a pawn is dangerous, but it is not uncontrollable at this point. There's 3 squares before it gets to the queening. Actually 2 squares now, but there were 3. If rook c8, bishop d6, rook c6, rook d7, a3, king g6, bishop d3. What was the king move? King takes h5. So a3, rook a7 is an interesting continuation. White has some other winning opportunities that Magnus could have went down. There was one other one. If queen c5, queen c5, a2, bishop d4, rook d2, bishop e5, rook e2, rook a7 now to stop the pawn from queening. Rook takes g2, and king to e6, king g8, and rook a8. And white wins the rook. Let me see here. He has to come here. Check. And that's the win of the rook. A2 was played by Magnus' opponent. If rook takes g2, rook takes a, and Magnus has 2 extra pawns, and that's enough to win the game. So g3 keeps his pawns connected. Rook c6 check. King g5. King g8. Exchanging rooks would not help, like if let me see here. So rook g8. Exchanging rook. Yeah, it doesn't help because of bishop g7. King rotates, and then bishop d4. And these 3 pawns against this one, it's going to be totally just not good at all. Bishop e2, f4 at that point, and king f7, king f5, or pawn f5, king e8, b5, bishop takes, king takes. Now he's got 3 connected passed pawns. Oh man. White wins according to one of the engines. So this is like incredibly strong. Wow. I wouldn't want to be the person that Magnus was playing at this point. This isn't fun. Rook c5, bishop c5. Bishop a6, bishop d4 to cover the queen square, rook d6, and then bishop to a1. And black resigned here. Okay, we will call it on this. And yep, you had the line right, I believe. Chess solver solves. He started with the endgame with an extra pawn because of the opposite color bishops. His win was not at all, as I like to say, cemented in stone. He entered a comfortable endgame that he liked, and Magnus was able to play against the Dutch Grandmaster and his king, and basically won the game at that point. Okay, and so that was kind of the wrap up of it. He was able to take his advantage and use it, trade off queens, and get into a comfortable endgame he felt good with. Okay, I will have to log. I wanted to thank y'all and you guys did good on participating. Thank you for participating, putting in chat, and going over the games, looking them up, because that's part of the battle. Having improved your play is vital. And we have to remember to, always, like what Bruce Lee says, take what you know and apply it, and be willing to do something with it. And you know what? Remember, like what Tom Thum Thum said, is this: treasure your victories, learn from your losses, and remember that mistakes do not define you. It's how you handle the mistake that defines you. And then Yasser Seirawan had a statement that I liked, is every long journey begins with one small step. And that's and the small step is every day doing a little bit of chess. It doesn't have to be hours. It could just be 5, 10, 20 minutes, 15 minutes, 10 minutes. Just every day doing something. And you'll see an improvement over time. But you know what? It all comes down to the Chess Cruncher motto of hanging up your coat, hanging up your hat, sitting down and studying when most won't. Team Chess Cruncher does. That makes all the difference. As Wesley So says through the Lord Jesus, as I say, God bless, and I'll see you next time on Chess Cruncher TV. Have a blessed morning, afternoon, and evening, and Lord willing, I'll be back on tomorrow. We'll keep pushing forward. Remember what Hannibal Smith said: forcing moves are vital. If you're able to force the position, there's two results: a win or a draw. And if you get in a forcing move, you know what? And you either draw or lose, take it back, learn what happened. Maybe you can even employ that on your next opponent. And in the end, it all comes back to receiving the Lord Jesus, Lord and Savior. And you know what? Asking the Holy Spirit to help you. He's promised to teach you all things, but you have to do your part and continue to keep pushing forward, and not settling for second place, which in the SEALs it's considered first loser. And when the SEAL groups, one of them won, they got to say this: it pays to be a winner. It pays to be a winner. It does. And just keep studying. You'll get stronger, get your mind right, and sit down when you play, have fun, and 2 thumbs up, hoorah, be blessed, and honor the Lord Jesus with your gifts and that He's given you. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Be blessed.